To the town of Agua Fria rode a stranger one fine day. He hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. He's an outlaw loose and running, came a whisper from each lip, for the stranger there among them wore the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip. Oh, hey there, folks. You know, a song never fails to ease my mind out here in the West. Or is it the East? That looks like North Country. And, well, that's definitely the South. I mean, I suppose it don't make no never mind no how. My name is Modest Mike, known to some as the West Hollywood Warbler, the Bard of Burbank. Now, I've had other nicknames and cognomens, but I hail from a small province in the armpit of central Maryland, and such is the which why Modest Mike is my sobriquet of preference. Now, today on Clearing the Queue Review, I'm a-stepping outside my quotidian repertoire and taking a stab at one of them newfangled video games I hear all the kids are talking about these days. So saddle up them ponies, partner, and let's skin this smoke wagon. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the third installment in the Red Dead video game franchise, but it's actually a prequel to the second game, Red Dead Redemption, which is not a sequel to the first game, Red Dead Revolver. And if any of that is confusing at all to you, you're in good company. Since Red Dead Revolver is not as storied and celebrated a game as Red Dead Redemption, I'm pretty much just not going to talk about it. There are plenty other videos out there that cover Revolver, and I never played it, so I don't give a fuck. We good? Good. Great. Grand. No yelling on the bus! In 2010, Rockstar Games released a show-stopping hit game built on the back of the enormously successful Grand Theft Auto franchise. With jaw-dropping open-world, high-caliber storytelling, and unforgettable voice acting performances, Red Dead Redemption was one of the best-selling video games of the decade. And now, nigh on 8 years later, Rockstar delivers the much-anticipated sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2. And holy shit did they deliver. According to IGN, Rockstar's net revenue grew to $1.249 billion in 2018 compared to the $480.8 million in the same quarter of the previous year. And that's not really relevant to anything I'm about to talk about, but I just thought you might like to know. Since this is the first time I'm reviewing something that isn't a phantom remnant of a long-dead zeitgeist, I think it's only fair that I give the customary spoilers alert before I proceed. So, there you have it. I'm going to talk about important elements of the game and the story in the game that could otherwise be ruined should you just blatantly watch this without having played the game. This is your one warning. Right up there is this little close click thing. You click that shit and it'll go away. Are they gone? Good. They were stinking up the joint. This video game is not so much a video game as it is a TV series that gamers are invited to participate in. And by that I mean, it doesn't feel like I played this game. This game happened to me. The task of summarizing it is a challenge so daunting that I've pretty much just had to make peace with the fact that I'm just gonna scratch the surface with this review. So, without further ado, Red Dead Redemption 2, in a nutshell, follows the endeavors and escapades of one Arthur Morgan, outlaw, cynic, and all-around manly man of the West. The game opens on a grim scene wherein your gang finds itself on the run from the law. Forced out of Blackwater by some kind of job that went south, you seek the shelter of an abandoned mining camp to wait out the blizzard. For the few days that you're there, the game introduces the player to the mechanics of riding, combat, both ranged and melee, and other basic gameplay elements that would otherwise be considered part of an in-game tutorial system. However, because of how Rockstar cleverly disguises the notoriously reviled in-game tutorial process with interesting story hooks like getting to know the other members of your party, establishing the ins and outs of in-game survival like tracking game, how to hunt so you can feed yourself, and it becomes a great introduction to the story that allows players to feel as much a part of Arthur's journey as his tuberculosis. What? I fucking said spoilers, don't give me that fucking look. So once they've walked you through the basics, the game opens up and you're allowed that glorious freedom that Rockstar Games are famously celebrated for. And you spend a good deal of time trying to pull off different criminal schemes and heists, and when things go tits up, which they always do, you spend a proportionally similar amount of time shooting your way out of trouble. Characters show up and depart from the story for all sorts of reasons, but mostly because they get killed when aforementioned criminal schemes fail to run as smoothly as advertised. This means that the gang has to pull up stakes, which happens quite frequently. And every time, Dutch promises that it will be the last, usually sprinkling in some notions about how close they are to having enough money, and they just need one more good score. If Dutch is the mouthpiece of the gang, Arthur is most certainly its right hand. People seem to respect and admire you, asking for favors, confiding their insecurities, and looking for guidance. Even Dutch himself asks Arthur for his 2 cents from time to time. But eventually, the growing divide between those who question Dutch's leadership and those who just follow him blindly becomes a rift in the gang that tears them all apart. Arthur finds out that Micah Bell has been feeding the Pinkertons information about your gang's activities since before the shit went down in Blackwater. Before the fucking game even started. As if there weren't enough reasons to hate the shit out of this motherfucking scumbag. No matter how you play the game, Arthur does not get to kill Micah, which I will get to. But essentially you have to shovel shit and move hay around playing as John Marston before you finally get to kill that motherfucker. And at that point the game as well is pretty much over. I appreciated some things about this game, but let me tell you about them. Side missions. Most of them are dumb little fetch missions, I know, but the characters that they build within them, unfucking forgettable. And this is a signature element in a lot of Rockstar games. The characters have always been developed and interesting. From the scientist who enlists your help in Saint Denis to help him build an electric chair, to the one-legged trapper who implores you to help him retrieve his surly horse. Everyone's got a reason for being where they are, for doing what they're doing. And that brings me to my first major talking point for this episode. Immersion. Everything in this game serves the overall goal of creating an immersive experience for gamers. From the mind-blowing realism of the vast American landscapes, to bustling city streets populated with staggeringly lifelike AI, to simple maintenance like keeping your guns clean and shaving your beard. Not my beard, no. You get the fuck away with those things. Everything about this game is done with the intention of blurring the lines between the gamer and Arthur Morgan himself. And the storytelling as well is hands down the best the video games had to offer in quite some time. Open world sandbox games tend to get bogged down with collectible missions, like the riddles in the Arkham games, the feathers and the flags in the Assassin's Creed games, even the Word of Power quests in Skyrim. These kinds of missions exist to increase the longevity of a game. But Rockstar takes it a step further. Rather than giving you a cool hat or a fancy jacket, Rockstar rewards you for playing their game with content in the game that's actually fun to play. Cowboy dress up! Because secretly all I really want to do is play dress up and be a cowboy. I spent a lot of time in-game just working on Arthur's look, making him classy or trashy or whatever I was feeling that day. Now, I'm not really proud to share that information with you guys, but I include it because it speaks to the quality of the game when even the simple aesthetics of how your character looks is worth spending hours of your life on. Maybe not hours. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. Oh, okay, probably hours. Yeah, sure. Lastly, horse shit. No, literally, the horse is shit. I'll admit, the first time I saw it, I probably laughed for like 20, 30 minutes. I mean, that's unnecessary attention to detail, but it's there. Somebody wrote that code. Somebody got a paycheck. Wonderful time to be alive, isn't it? some things I didn't like. Micah! I'd like to talk about an element of the immersive experience that might have been a little too heavy-handed. Ordinarily, I look at conflict as a positive element in storytelling, and I think that remains true. However, this particular game takes that philosophy to a whole nother plane of thought. There is so much fucking conflict in this game that I can't go anywhere to do anything without all of the fucking things happening to me. It's a little much. Sometimes when a random counter is initiated, you can just outright ignore it. But sometimes they fucking chase you down, especially when it's a rival gang. I can't tell you how maddening it becomes when you're out hunting around for the perfect deer pelt so you can go make you perfect fuck whatever the fuck you're gonna make with it. And then you get ambushed by O'Driscolls and now, oh fuck, well I guess I gotta go kill all them to get my fucking perfect pelt back. And then you find out they didn't take your perfect pelt. You don't know where the fuck it is, it's just gone. So you gotta go find a fuck another one. And you fucking spend all the time hunting and tracking and you finally find a fucking deer with a perfect fucking pelt again. And you fucking kill the fucker and then you get ambushed on your way going back to town and you fucking... It's a bit much. Which brings me to another point about the heavy-handed immersive experience. Everything in this game is labor intensive. From basic travel to mandatory story missions that include actual manual fucking labor. I bought this game so I could rob trains and shoot people in the face, not so I could literally shovel horse shit. And after you beat the portion of the game where you play as Arthur Morgan, a lot of the things that made it enjoyable come to an ass-grinding halt so that you can play what is essentially a fucking farm simulator. Why? I got to unlock guns. I got the fucking paper. I should just be able to buy whatever the fuck I want, right? Background check. The fuck you need one of those for? Those kids had it coming. Also, why the fuck am I only allowed to carry 4 guns maximum at a time? A person can't carry that many fucking guns without looking totally ridiculous and being super over encumbered. This is an example of the immersive experience getting a little too heavy-handed for my liking. I should be able to shoot every person in the game with a different gun if I fucking want to. If carrying more guns means that I have to make special holsters or, straps, I'm cool with that. Just let me carry more than 4 fuck guns. Furthermore, a lot of this game feels like it's hidden from you. I logged like 80 fucking hours in this game, and I feel like I missed 75% of this shit that isn't a part of the main story, which I sort of have mixed feelings about because I enjoy discovering stuff on my own, but I felt like I had to do research to know where I needed to be, when I needed to be where to see certain things. And that's not something I feel like is very accessible to the casual fuck gamer like myself. Doesn't that add to the replay value of the game? Not when your fucking game is 60 hours, asshole. Now my favorite part, things I would have changed. Now, I've said it before and I'll fucking say it again. I am just some asshole on the internet talking to you about shit that, well, for once is actually relevant. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. You don't even have to take it seriously. Just hear me out. If you do the honorable thing at the end of the game and leave with John Marsden, thus forsaking the money that Dutch has been hiding from you in the gang, Arthur does not get to kill Micah. What the fuck? I know. Dutch stops Arthur in the last moments of the final fight in the ending I watched. And then Arthur just crawls up to a pretty spot on the mountains to watch the fucking sun come up. This ending is immensely dissatisfactory. Now don't get me wrong, I saw it coming. When you have that exchange with the doctor in Saint Denis and he tells you you probably got tuberculosis, which, I mean, medical science has come a long way. Considering the doctors back then were like, oh, your tooth hurts? Here's some heroin. You would hope that the guy would do some kind of test, something, not just like, oh, you probably got tuberculosis, whatever. Unhappy as I was with the ending of the game, I did a little research and I found out that there are 2 other endings to the game. Oh, good. Don't get too excited. Why? In both of those endings, Micah kills Arthur. What the fuck? I know. Yeah, in one ending, he fucking shoots him in the face, and in another ending, he fucking stabs him in the back. Well, fuck that. I agree. Fuck that. Now, as I mentioned, you do eventually get to kill Micah. But fuck me if it doesn't feel like a goddamn consolation prize. I didn't haul my tuberculosis-having ass up the side of a fucking mountain, shoot my way through a goddamn army of Pinkertons, and engage in one of the most emotionally charged fistfights in video game history to not kill that goddamn son of a bitch. Maybe it's because the game does such a good job of making you really fucking hate Micah, but I was seriously ready to throw myself off the side of that mountain with a lit stick of dynamite shoved up my ass if it meant I got to be the one to kill that fucker. So imagine my chagrin at the realization that I would have to wait even longer to have my vengeance. I've talked about this before in previous episodes, how the relationship between protagonist and antagonist is really fucking important to me. And I happen to be of the opinion that the best antagonist-protagonist relationships are born out of conflicting goals. In other words, the protagonist might not necessarily be a good person, but the audience still roots for them because we empathize with their goals. And conversely, we dislike an antagonist because of our lack of empathy towards whatever it is they're attempting to achieve. And Mike is a great villain because we hate him for all the right reasons. Not just because he's a piece of shit, but because everything that he wants conflicts with all of Arthur's major goals. He's the perfect antithesis to Arthur Morgan. What I'm suggesting, it's not a radical reevaluation of the whole fucking story. It's not complicated. I just want the logical, satisfying end to this game that I was hoping for. All I wanted to do was kill Micah as Arthur. Give Arthur his fucking due. Let the man take out his fucking nemesis. I don't care if that means I gotta die in a really ugly way. That's honestly all I would have fucking changed about this game. Like that was my major gripe with it. Other than that, man, I fucking love this thing. Hope you enjoyed watching. I really enjoyed making this one. The Clearing the Queue theme song and a lot of the original music used in this episode was written and recorded by my good friend Chuck Miller, and you can find a link to his shit down there. We'll be on over to his SoundCloud and check out what he's got going on these days. And thanks again for watching, because it's a lot of fun making this, and it's even more fun knowing that, you know, somebody out there gives a fuck. And stay tuned, because I got more opinions about stuff, and I'm gonna keep talking about them to this camera right here. So if you got a problem with that, I'll see you outside.